That morning, the sky above Ungaran was still gray. The sun hadn't fully risen, only faint orange streaks seeping from behind the hills. A gentle breeze descended from Mount Ungaran, carrying the scent of damp earth and lingering dew. The streets of Beiji, a quiet area on the outskirts of Ungaran, were slowly filling with the rumble of vehicles heading to work or simply looking for breakfast. On the porch of his small, black iron-fenced house, Gondrong had been sitting since 6 in the morning. On his lap, a pure white male cat stretched lazily. He named him Sea Beauty, although it wasn't the most creative name. Gondrong had kept the cat for almost a year. He had picked him up near Bondario Market, skinny and frightened. Now, Sea Beauty was grown, healthy, and lively, sometimes even too lively, especially when he smelled the scent of female cats from the neighbors. That day, Gondrong intended to take him to a neutering practice in Beiji, Ungaran. For a reason. Lately, White has begun exhibiting annoying territorial behavior, peeing on the bed, meowing loudly in the middle of the night, and frequently running away for 2 or 3 days. That's it. La, Gondrong murmured to the cat, stroking its soft neck. It's for you too. Ben won't keep wandering around. Gondrong placed Beauty in a rattan basket with a wire lid. He had bought the basket at the Ambarawa Animal Market, and it was now Beauty's official vehicle whenever he needed to go anywhere. He rode an old Honda motorcycle, its 2-stroke engine always rattling loudly when started. The trip from his house to the Beiji area took about 15 minutes. We passed through narrow streets between houses that were already starting to get busy. There were women sweeping yards, vegetable vendors parking briefly to wait for customers, and tire repairmen still lighting their stoves to make coffee. When he reached the main road in Beiji, Gondrong slowed down. To his right, a 2-story building with a green fence and a banner that read Vina Veterinary Practice Cat Sterilization and Castration Services appeared. Below it, the practice hours were displayed. Monday, Saturday, 7 o'clock a.m., 12 o'clock p.m. web. Just right, he muttered, turning off the motorcycle engine and guiding the vehicle into a small parking space in the front yard. Quiet waiting room. Gondrong entered quietly. The practice's waiting room was small but clean. There were 4 blue plastic chairs, a small table with old brochures and magazines about animal care, and a fan humming softly in the corner. A young woman, wearing a hijab, stood behind the reception desk. Good morning, sir. Spay or neuter? She asked politely. Neuter, miss. Male cat. Can you schedule it today? Yes, sir. Name of the owner and the cat. Gondrong. The cat is Sea Beauty. The receptionist recorded the information on her small laptop, then handed him a surgical consent form. Gondrong read it carefully about the general anesthesia procedure, minor risks, and the food restriction from the night before, all of which he had prepared. After signing, Gondrong sat down. He opened the lid of the rattan basket slightly. Sea Beauty purred softly, his eyes calm, though a hint of suspicion. Shortly after, a family arrived with 2 female cats. They sat next to Gondrong and chatted quietly. Gondrong didn't respond much, his mind preoccupied. Outside, the chirping of sparrows and the distant sound of vehicles provided a strangely calming backdrop. One by one, The patients were called. A cat coughed, another had a broken nail, and finally, it was Pewdie's turn. Put Pewdie down, sir, his assistant called out. Gondrong stood. Yes, ma'am. He handed over the basket and followed the assistant to the operating room. The room was cool and clean, with bright white lights and neatly arranged small surgical instruments. Pewdie was gently removed, petted, and then given an anesthetic injection. Gondrong was allowed to wait in the outside room during the procedure. About half an hour, sir. We'll call you later. Silent time outside. Gondrong sat scrolling through his phone, but nothing really caught his attention. He preferred to stare out the window. Across the street, a small stall sold fried snacks and hot tea. Occasionally, the sound of free-range chickens could be heard, and several elementary school children in their white and red uniforms passed by, joking around. In the silence, Gondrong thought about many things. About how time flies, about Little White, who was once tiny and now ready to be neutered, about his childhood memories in Beiji before moving to Upper Ungaran. He once had a cat too, but it was poisoned by a neighbor for stealing chickens. On the waiting room wall, photos of spayed cats hung, with the caption, "Thank you for saving many street children." Gondrong smiled slightly. There was a sense of relief and emotion. Although simple, he felt he had done something right. Completed surgery obit. 35 minutes later, Gondrong's name was called again. The doctor's assistant showed him Little White, sound asleep, wrapped in a small blanket. The operation had gone smoothly, Mr. Gondrong. It's over. Now it's recovery time. Let him sleep for now. You can take him home, but make sure he doesn't jump around and keep him in a quiet room. Give him soft food if possible. Come back here for a checkup tomorrow. Yes, miss. Thank you very much. Gondrong carefully accepted the basket. Inside, Little White lay limp, but still breathing peacefully. Guilt and compassion wrestled in Gondrong's heart, but he knew this was for everyone's good.